So with a lot of things in statistics, we're going to need to learn how to use our calculator. So what we're going to do right now is this same set of data. You can find out a bunch of things with your calculator. You can find them out by hand as well, although sometimes it's going to be nice to figure them out with your calculator.
Sorry for the interruption. If we could please now have the rest of the grade 9 students that have not yet had their pictures taken, if you can please make your way to the gym. That's all grade 9 students that have not yet had their picture taken. If you could please make your way to the gym. Thank you.
So I'm going to get you to go to Stat on your calculator, because that's where a majority of the statistics stuff is. And then when you go to push Enter on Edit, and what we're going to get you to do is to put all of those values, 10, 12, 15, 10, 18, 17, 11, put them all into list 1. So wherever you have in your notes this little calculator symbol, that's going to tell you that this is some instructions to use for your calculator and how you can do it. Now once you've got everything entered into list 1, you're going to go back to your calculator, hit the Stat button again, go over to Calculate, and then push Enter on the very first one. Now depending on your calculator, whether it's new or not, some calculators will just go to your main screen and write this. Other ones will come up like this. All you have to do is go down to Calculate and push Enter. I'm going to get different numbers than you because I didn't put all the data in. But this screen is going to pop up and it's going to give you a ton of information about the data you put in. The very first thing with the X and the bar over top of it, that's your mean. That's your average. The second one, that sigma sign says sum. That says if they wanted to add up all of those numbers that you put in, that's going to tell you what it equals to. So if that was an important thing that you needed to find out, it tells it there. If you wanted to take each of the numbers that you put in and square it, and then add them up, that's the next number. So that sigma sign means it's adding it up, and it's adding up all of them squared. We're going to learn that these next numbers tell us things about standard deviation. We're mainly going to use the one with sigma. As you go into university statistics, you're going to find out the difference between standard deviation of a population and an estimate of the standard deviation of a population. So there's going to be slight differences between the S and the sigma. For this year, we're going to use mainly the sigma. The N equals tells you how many things you put in. So if it was 30 days, your N should say 30. It tells you the minimum number that you put in. And then if you scroll down, it tells you a Q1, med, Q3, and max. So obviously the minimum and max are the smallest and biggest things. The median is the one that happens right in the middle. So if you had listed them all in the correct order and rewritten them all out, and we had 30 things, the middle will be between 15 and 16. So if your 15 and your 16 were both the same number, which looks like it was 13, then that's the median. You can also easily see, if we go back to our frequency, when am I going to get to 15? I'm at 3, now I'm at 6, now I'm at 10, now I'm at 13, 14, 15. Was it not add up? Yeah. Does your median come up at 14? Yeah. Okay. So 14 is the median because that's where 15 is. 6, 10, 15, 15, and 16. Does it come up as 14.5 or 14? 14.5? Because the 15th one is 14, and the 16th one is 15, And when your median, if there's not an odd number of things, because if you have an odd number like 5, the third one is the middle. That's your median. But when you have 6, the middle happens between the third and the fourth one. And if it is that your value is between 14 and 15, as you see here, your median would be 14.5, the average of those ones. So your frequency chart also can be really helpful in finding the median, because sometimes they're going to ask you these kind of questions on a non-calculator. So you're going to have to be able to say, I can see that the median is right here between 14 and 15, so it's going to be 14.5. If you wanted to find your average with the data like this, you would have 3 at 10 plus 3 at 11 plus 4 times 12. And you'd add all those ones up, and then you'd have to divide it by 30 because there's 30 in total. Q1 and Q3 are quartiles. What they are is the first quarter and the third quarter, and same sort of idea as median is the middle. If you divide it into 4 equal sections, quartile 1 is whatever number would be right there. Quartile 3 is whatever number would be 3/4 of the way. The median of the median. So if you cut it in half and did the median again, that would be quartile 1 and quartile 3. So there's a lot of data that you can find in here. So you can enter all of that data in all at once. However, if you've made a frequency distribution chart like we saw already, here you can put this data into list 1 and the frequency into list 2, and then that can help you figure it out quicker. So the same thing, now I'm going to see, this might be the data I have in here, stat, edit. No, I've got different data in there, but the data that I have in there, I now have something in list 1 and something in list 2.
Starting with the letter A through to the letter F as in Frank. That's grade 10 students starting with the letter A through to the letter F. Thank you.
And now when you go to calculate it, you've got your list in list 1, but now in your frequency list you can go list 2 there and then calculate, and it will already figure out that your frequency was in list 2 and figure out the average and figure out the median and the standard deviation from there. So there are some calculator things for the beginning of the year that can be helpful.